Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning, welcome back to my channel. This morning we have a market to go to. Another one. Yes, another one. I am exhausted. I feel like doing 2 markets 2 weekends in a row. I don't know how people do it. I have like a couple other vendor friends and stuff that do this all the time, and I genuinely don't know how they do it. They're incredible. But you joined me in my bathroom this morning and we're gonna just put on my makeup, put on my face, my little winged eyeliner to make me feel human, and then yeah, head on over to the market. It's about 8:30 a.m. right now. I need to leave here probably in about half an hour so I can get to the venue by like 9:30-ish. This one's a chill market for me. I've done it so many times. It was the first place I've ever done a market, so I feel really at home at this market. It's in Dumbo at Empire Stores, so it's pretty much in the lobby area right next to the Time Out Food Market in Dumbo. And yeah, like I said, about 2 years ago in August, this was the first place I did a market. It is held by Fad Market. They're great. I really love it that it's run by Jen. She's great, and this market I never really feel that anxious to go to. I did the first time I did it. My mum came for that one and I was crying all morning being like, what if I don't have any sales and no one will buy anything? Turns out at least one person will buy something from me at every market. It just depends if there's going to be more on top of that. So anyway, we're going to put on my makeup, but I also just wanted to say, what the heck? I uploaded my little Bryant Park market vlog yesterday. It's been less than a day. It's like 22 hours ago I posted it. It says 894 views, 722 subscribers. That's insane. That's me feeling like I'm going viral, because what the hell? What the helly? What the hell, yeah? Yeah, I don't understand that. It just seems like you guys really enjoy market vlogs, so I thought it would be good to film this one as well, since it's pretty different from Renegade and from Bryant Park. It's kind of like a mixture of the two, where it's in a public space, so like Bryant Park, but it is very like craft market focused, if that makes sense, which is kind of like Renegade. I do feel as though, I don't know why I thought I could do this while I'm vlogging. I truly can't. I have to focus on that. Wings are done. This market, I usually do a 6-foot table, but because last year I did a market on Mother's Day weekend, I actually did Renegade, and it was terrible. Like, that Renegade was, everybody struggled that weekend. It was so slow. I didn't make table back. It was just very upsetting. So this year, because I had that experience last year with Renegade on Mother's Day, I was like, you know what, let me sign up for a 4-foot table instead of a 6-foot table. So my table fee for this weekend is about $250, which is so much lower. It's like a quarter of the cost than Bryant Park. So yeah, we just have a lot less money that we need to make to reach table. The only annoying thing about this market is that they don't have any overnight storage. At Renegade, at Bryant Park, I was able to leave my table set up and go away and only do 1 load in and 1 load out. For Fad, for Dumbo specifically, I have to load in, load out, load in, load out both days because they don't have any overnight storage. They used to have overnight storage and you just had to basically take your table apart and bring it upstairs. So you still had to reset your table in the morning, but at least you didn't have to take everything home and bring it back in the morning. So that is one negative about this market, is that I'm gonna have a higher cost on Ubers to get there and back, since I can't just take like public transportation in the evening and in the morning on Saturday and Sunday. It is definitely something you want to consider when you are doing markets, because those are all added costs to the table fee. So I'm always talking about how I want to make it to table fee. That is the first thing that I want to make, but then you also have to think about the fact that like you paid to get there, so you want to also cover that cost. And are you buying food? You need to cover that cost, and also obviously your labor and all that stuff. Markets can be really disappointing because you put in so much work and energy into going, and so it is hard to not be disappointed when you show up to one and you hardly make any sales, and you know, you feel kind of like your art isn't worth it or that people don't want it. Then you have a really successful market and you're like, life is worth living. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a sick, twisted mind game, markets, because you don't know what you're gonna get. Right, makeup is done. This is everything I'm bringing to this market. Again, with Fad, I feel like I've got it down pat. Since I have to go back and load in both mornings and load out both nights. I tried to make it very easy for myself. I just have my suitcase and then I have my cart. Since it's a 4-foot table, I have to kind of rejudge the way that I set up everything and be a bit smarter about like how I display things. This cart is like half as full as it normally is, and I also was very strategic about how many cards I am bringing to this market. As you saw for Bryant Park, I had like double the amount of boxes that I have here, but this time around I was like, you know what, Sarah? Last market, hardly anybody bought like these certain designs, so only bring 3 of them in stock. And I did that with art prints as well. I only bought, I think, like 3 of each design. Essentially, I was just trying to be really smart about how much stuff I was going to be carrying and bringing to this market, just because I am loading in and out both mornings. So I don't want to break my back, you know what I mean? I don't have any help for this market, and that is intentional. I didn't ask for any help because I don't need any help for this market if I can be smart about how much I am packing and bringing. Let's figure out the snack situation. I did yesterday go to Whole Foods, and these chocolate chip muffins, so I got that for breakfast. And then I got my classic cheddar bunnies because for some reason at market, I like don't usually get these unless I have a market. Something about them at a market really hits. Maybe I should bring some fruit like an apple or a banana. I don't know, I don't really have actually that much. I probably should have gone to Whole Foods with a list, but I didn't. I will see you guys in Dumbo. table this time because the hallway is a little bit thin, so I can't sit behind my table. So I'm feeling a little out in the open. I am set up quite early. We open at 11, but it's 10 a.m. now, so I'm like pretty much set up, so I have an extra hour, I guess, if people want to shop. It's kind of loud in here, so I don't know if you can even hear me, but I will check in with you guys when there's something noteworthy to check in on. I hope you like my setup. This is how I would do it for a 4-foot table. I also couldn't fit my cart under my table, and I'm now just realizing I don't know if I bought my key for my cash box, so that's problematic. But yeah, I couldn't fit this under my table, but I have my suitcase under there, and I'm sitting like in between the two. Okay, yeah, no cash box key. That's on me. It's because my keychain broke, so like I've been just carrying around my apartment keys, and that one over my head this morning. So luckily I have some cash in my wallet that I could probably use. I don't have that many ones, but I have 5 and 10s and 20s, so we'll see if I can get by with that, and then I'll just try to remember it for tomorrow. I am having a morning. I literally just got a fraudulent charge on my business debit card, so I had to call them to close down my account essentially. And then while I was on the phone with them, I had like a couple of customers come up trying to talk to me, and I felt really overwhelmed and frazzled. So that was really stressful. But the account is closed down now. So I'm feeling better about that, but like I'm still a little bit on edge. It was so hectic and stressful. But yeah, closed down the account. Somebody tried to buy something from Dave & Buster's.
Would you rather have cash or?
If you have cash, that would be great.
Okay.
I don't have.
See if I have.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have change still?
I don't have a lot of ones, but I do have like 5s and 10s. So.
I think we might be needing. I just
Okay.
let me have a break.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a 20. So.
20? Yeah.
Cool.
Let me grab you a 5. Yeah.
I love all the Taylor Swift stuff, by the way. I
thank
am
you.
a Swiftie. I'm just getting some for other people right now.
Oh, cute. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Oh, here, these are for you. Don't forget your cards.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
You got the right card.
A surprising amount of people haven't seen Twilight, and they're like, what is this?
Oh.
And I'm like, okay,
So-
it's an iconic scene.
I'm gonna get 3 stickers.
Okay. They're all waterproof as well, so you can put them on like your water bottle and they'll be fine.
I put them on the back of my, like, I have a computer case on my computer, like
Yeah.
a cheap one, and so I get to put them
Perfect. Do you want to do cash or card?
Card.
$10.89 after tax. Wi-Fi's a little slow in here, so I might take a second. Those 3? Yeah. And then do you want to pay cash or card? Cash. Okay, so then it'll, yeah, 15. Do you want a bag?
It takes so long.
Oh no worries. I know I have a lot of design, so it takes a minute. Perfect. So 15. So 5 back to you. Yeah. Perfect. So you're all set. Thank you. Yeah. Do these 3?
Do you do tap?
Yes, I do. Do you want a bag? Okay, $16.33 after tax. You're all set. Yeah, thank you. Have a good one. My sister showed up. As soon as she arrived, I started crying because I'm still feeling a little panicky, but she's here and she brought me an iced tea. It's so loud in here. What? What? And there's her fiance. Push me out of the way. JP. Okay, bye. This market is so overstimulating. I've got club music to the right of me and a basketball game to the left of me and people swarming around to watch the basketball game. I'm so overstimulated. Made it home. The way in which I felt so car sick in that car ride home. But I'm gonna do a little tofu stir fry in a peanut sauce. I thought we could kind of recap the day together. I find Fad Market in Dumbo to be one of the harder ones for me to vlog at because it's so overstimulating and loud, and I don't really have a lot of like privacy, especially this time around since I don't sit behind my table. I'm like next to it. I feel like I'm literally talking and everybody's watching me, even though they're not, but that it just feels much more exposing. I didn't film that much today. I hope what I did get you can hear well or that you enjoyed. But let's recap the day. I feel like today went okay. It wasn't the best Saturday that I've had in Dumbo, so that's a little disappointing in the sense that like I didn't make as much as I have done there before. I think it's hard in the springtime and also in the summer just because no one really has that much of a purpose to buy unless it's like a birthday or Mother's Day. Obviously I did sell a decent amount of Mother's Day cards today. You know, in the holidays obviously people are much more inclined to buy things because it's holiday season, you know, that's the time of gift giving. So I do find the spring markets to be much more wishy-washy with how much I'm gonna make. I don't know why I'm focusing on the bell pepper. I need to chop up my tofu. Let me get my tofu. I'm gonna cube this and then put it in a little saucepan with some oil and make it a little bit more crispy. I am happy with where I ended today. I enjoy content, a lot of small business content that is very transparent about the financial side of things. I don't know if I'm gonna be like super transparent about like everything financial in my business, but for this market I feel like it could be nice for me to kind of like break every cost down. So the table itself was $250. That does include $10 for renting a chair, so it could have been $240, but I added on a chair for $10. So it was $250. Today I made $298 $200, so $2 shy of 300, which is good. It means that I made my table fee for the whole weekend, so tomorrow is profit. And I do profit like that because it's not actually profit when you think about it. I have to also include the Ubers. So today my first Uber of the day was I think about 16 bucks, and then the Uber on the way home was $22. So in comparison to last weekend where it cost me like 70 bucks to get into the city, since this one is also in Brooklyn, and I'm pretty sure there is now a surcharge to get into the city from Brooklyn or from wherever. So going to a market in the city is going to cost me more Uber-wise than Brooklyn to Brooklyn. You know, the Ubers today were like relatively cheap, but if you add on 16 plus 22 is what, 38? Did I do that math correctly? Anyway, so then you have to add that to the $2.50 table fee, and then also the 2 Ubers I'm going to be taking tomorrow. I'm basically still not at profit yet, because if I'm going to include like similar pricing for Ubers tomorrow and I'm at about 300 for table, it kind of just covered the cost of the table and then the Ubers. I also spent $7 on a bagel this morning, which $7 on a bagel, that was mediocre at best. Also, at all of my markets, I tally everything up. I find that to be the best way for me to sort of like compare and contrast market to market, and also for me to just throughout the day know exactly where I'm at, since I get a variety of payment types like cash, card, or Venmo, and then that way I can really see like how much I need left to make table or where I'm at basically. We could go through that together as well. Today I had 33 transactions, so it means that 33 people bought from me today, which is pretty good actually. 33 people is a lot of people buying my stuff. From those 33 people, there were 45 cards bought, 7 stickers, 3 bookmarks, and 2 magnets. All of my products were bought today except for my art prints. And honestly, there was a girl who was selling really beautiful watercolored art prints today. Rightfully so. She was getting sales for the art prints, and I feel like people didn't gravitate towards mine with hers being in the same space. Hers were also New York City themed, so like, you know, tourists were gonna love them. So that's also something else, is like competition. I say that again in air quotes because like we're all small business owners, we're all just trying to sell our art, so it's not really competition. Then I like to also tally my different bundles, like what people have bought. 5 people bought my 3 card bundle, 2 people bought my 5 card bundle, 2 people bought my 3 sticker bundle, 1 person got 2 bookmarks, and then 1 person bought 1 card and 1 sticker as a bundle. Gotta stir my tofu! So yeah, I don't know if those numbers are of interest to you guys, or if they kind of help you understand more of like how my day went. It was definitely better than the first day of Bryant Park, my Friday. It was slightly less than the Saturday at Bryant Park. So, all things considered, an average day. And I'm very, very happy to have reached table fee. As soon as I reach table fee, even though I know there's like Ubers and food and whatever, table fee is my biggest concern going into a market. Like I just always want to make that, because if you don't make table, it's just like, then it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So that's just a little update for you guys. I really appreciate all the love on my Bryant Park vlog. I feel like it's so crazy to see it going like not actually viral, but in my personal like social media presence, it's going like pretty viral in my standards. Since this morning when we first checked in, I think it was at like what, 900 views and like 700, I don't even remember, but I'm now at 755 subscribers. On Friday I wasn't even at 700, and then we're at 1,700 views, 78 likes. Like what the heck? It's so crazy, and people are just saying such nice things. Okay, well someone was just being like telling me about weights for my tent. Whatever. It wasn't even windy it wasn't like windy that first day, and also like whatever. I'm like too fragile right now to have any sort of criticism, so I'm sure that comment wasn't even supposed to be like read that harshly, but I'm too fragile right now. Anyway, I digress. Overall, everybody's being really, really nice over on that video, and I just really appreciate it. Like, YouTube has been something that I've literally always wanted to do in my life. I've always loved content creation. I've filmed everything in my life. Like, I've just always been that friend that's like, let me film this, let me put up a camera. Like, I am that friend who constantly wants to document everything in their life. So the fact that people are actually like watching my videos at a higher rate than they used to, and I'm getting subscribers is really lovely and nice and validating. Okay, I ended up just using the same bowl that I used to make the sauce, so it doesn't look the most aesthetic, but I promise you it'll be tasty. And I've got a veggie, a protein, a quick easy dinner. Took me like half an hour. Also, tonight before I go to bed, I need to finish prepping some Hello from NYC cards. I only have one left. Someone ended up buying 5 of them, so I want to make sure that I have at least 10 to bring tomorrow. And last thing, before I turn off the camera for the evening and just like truly let myself relax, I ordered more of my pomegranate stickers and my olive stickers. This is probably on me for not realizing that my other stickers aren't 3 by 3 inches. These are massive. These are so much bigger, and I don't know if people are gonna want them this big. Gonna have to figure out if this is a happy mistake or a detrimental mistake. But the good thing is I thought that these were lost. It said these were delivered a week ago on Saturday while I was at Bryant Park, and they just like never showed up, and they just showed up today. Anyway, I have such a bad headache and I just need to eat, so I feel like all I do is complain in these vlogs. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be that way. Anyway, I'm gonna eat and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have you seen any of the season yet?
No, none of season 6.
Okay.
I'm like literally
16:33 episode.
perfect.
Yeah, if you're waiting out. Honestly, that's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, don't worry. Thank you. Have a good one, guys. Thanks. Those ones are okay.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for coming.
No worries. It is 3 for 15.
Okay. No way.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Welcome to Monday. The market is completely done now, thankfully. I said it before, but doing 2 markets in a row, really, I don't think is for me because it takes so much out of me, emotionally, physically, mentally. I mean, I've worked in retail pretty much since I graduated college, but honestly, when you're own like business person, I don't know how to explain it, but when you're like presenting your own business and helping customers solely just yourself, really, because I don't have any help unless like someone comes stop by and I get to go to the bathroom, but it's mostly just me standing there like selling my products, and so it does take a lot out of me because I am introverted. So I feel like the older I get, the more time I need in between big social events like that. So this morning I've had a very slow morning. I watched the Last of Us episode that came out last night. I took off my nail polish. Taking off gel manicures is so time consuming. Like, it took me an hour. Now my nails are breathing fresh air again, and I am gonna go off and visit one of my friends at a store that I used to work at and just like see her, have a little bit of a catch up. But yeah, it was really nice to have a little bit of a slow morning this morning and to kind of like rest and recharge. And yeah, let's go for a walk. Hello, it is actually Tuesday now. I ended up not doing anything else yesterday. Let's start to unpack my suitcase together now. Let's start to unpack and also just like fully recap the weekend together. In my suitcase, I like to try to fill it with mostly my art prints and then my display pieces. The cart always has my greeting cards in it. It also usually has my spin display in there and my vinyl banner. My cart I like to try to fill up as much as possible, and since my suitcase is kind of small, I can't really fit as much stuff in it, so I have to be really smart about what goes in my suitcase. And it turns out I can fit all of my art prints in here. Past weekend, I feel like, you know, we've touched on it. It was a pretty slow weekend for me. I did make table, which was great. I made it on the first day, and that felt really relieving in comparison to Bryant Park, where like I did not make table. I just am disappointed about how the rest of the weekend went. When I've done fad markets before, I've made like between 400 and 500 just on the first day, on the Saturday, and this time around I only made 298 on the first day, so in comparison, like much slower. And you know, the second day, foot traffic was equally as busy as it was on Saturday, but my sales were less. Let me give you my tallies. Sunday I made 176, so much slower. That gave us a total of 474 for the weekend. So again, you know, I made table fee, I made enough money, and I do have a little bit of profit, which is obviously nice. Better that I didn't lose any money at all. In comparison, before I've made like $800 to $900 at Fad before, so this was definitely a much slower market. I made like half of what I have made before at Fad, just for like context of how slow it was. But the second day, we had 20 transactions. Of those 20 transactions, people bought 23 greeting cards, 4 stickers, 3 bookmarks, and 2 sticker sheets. We had 2 people buy the 3 card bundle and 1 person buy my 2 bookmark bundle. You can tell, like in comparison to the first day, we had 13 more transactions on Saturday than we did on Sunday, and we sold about half of the amount of cards that we did on Saturday. Pretty slow weekend. But again, like, it is what it is at this point. I think, you know, I'd be lying if I said that I was happy about that. Running a small business is such a mind trip because Renegade was so good. I started my first market of the year with such a high. I made such a good amount of money and people were so complimentary. It was like so busy and it just felt really validating. I felt so good about my products and my business and what I was doing, and like for the rest of the year. Like that made me feel good for the rest of the year. And then having Bryant Park where I didn't make any money, and then this market where like I did, but it was, you know, half as slow as it usually is for me, was kind of like a it kind of felt like I took, you know, 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. Like I don't feel like my business is progressing at all in the way that I want it to. This year has been so slow in general, just except for Renegade. Like I've only had 2 wholesale orders so far, and my Etsy sales have gone so down since I first started Etsy. So yeah, it's just been really not an easy year so far, and I just don't know like what to do moving forward. I think honestly, the fact that now I'm at 800 subscribers, guys, what the heck? You literally, like, I know in this video we like have talked about like that YouTube video that I posted about Bryant Park a couple of times, but literally I've gained like 100 subscribers just from that one video, and I'm so close, well not so close, but I'm getting closer to being monetized on YouTube, and like having that as another source of like income, even though I know it won't be like hundreds of dollars or whatever, but it would just feel like another place that I'm being validated for all of the work that I'm doing. So thank you so much for following me, and I hope that I can continue this like upward track of growth on YouTube. That's like the one good thing that's come out of this past like couple of weeks, is gaining, you know, some traction on YouTube. But yeah, it's just been difficult, and I just don't know I can keep, well actually I'm not actually I've never been an optimist, but I just don't know how to be, you know, optimistic in this like political and economic climate when trying to run like a small art business, you know. to pursue my dreams. It doesn't seem like the time to do that, and that's really disheartening. I talk a lot in therapy about how I feel really stagnant in growth and just like in life in general, and so yeah, these slow markets have not helped that feeling. But yeah, so I emptied my suitcase, and now what we can do is like I said in my Bryant Park vlog, I am like running out of space to put all of my small business supplies and all that stuff. So all of the display pieces, like the wooden display pieces, they go under this chest of drawers here, and then all of my collapsible bins, I actually end up putting them back together, and I use those for my greeting card stock, and also I use one of these big ones for my art prints. But yeah, that's kind of just me unpacking my suitcase and unpacking this past weekend. This was me basically just rambling about a whole lot of nothing. Anyway, I think I might leave it off there for the vlog. I just really wanted to show you how another one of my markets goes. You know, you get a good sense of a bunch of different markets that I do in New York. And yeah, once again, I am so appreciative of all of you guys that are subscribing to me or liking my video, commenting on the video. Like, it's like I said, the only good thing that's recently come out of the past 2 weeks has been this traction on YouTube. So I really appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed, please feel free to do so. No pressure, but if you want to, it helps me grow. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully I will be less of a Debbie Downer. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!